So before we get started, here is a picture of how it looked originally to the left, and then after I painted it the first time. Both of them no molding. Look how plain it looks. I mean, molding really adds character, guys. It's a budget friendly project and very simple. I hope the steps that I went through and show you on today's video really help you achieve the look you're going for in your home. And please stay tuned. At the end of the video I show a couple bonus clips of how I did the molding that I added to the very top part, and this picture here and what moldings I used. Just a little quick video on that. Alright, so let's get started. Step 1, you're going to measure where you want your boxes, whether it be on an island like I did here or on your wall. You can draw it out. On the wall, when I'm doing a big project, I like to draw it out actually and use a big ruler so that it's easier. Here I did not. It was a smaller project and I had done this before, but do whatever you feel comfortable with. So now moving on to step 2. We are going to begin cutting, but before you get started, just cut off the end piece and the angle in which it's going to be with the thicker part of the molding on the outside, as that will be the outer portion of the box once you put it up on your wall. That is the side that you also use to measure when you make your markings on your molding. Keep in mind also that you're going to double up on your pieces because the top and bottom will be the same size, and so will the each side will be the same size, so just double up on those pieces. So here is an example of how they are supposed to look. Hope this gives you a good visual of the angles in which you're supposed to cut. They all should be pointing towards the middle of the box that you will be creating. So here I'm just retaking some measurements because I did not draw an outline of the box with pencil. It is again a smaller space, so I'm just making a couple different markings, 2 inches in, and then I believe I did about 1 inch up from the bottom part. And so once you get your measurements and everything on the wall, just make sure it's straight. Apply some tape before you apply the glue or the nails so you can get a full visual of your box before you go permanent. Alright, so step 3, we are going to begin gluing and then nailing the molding to the wall as you see here. So make sure when you're nailing, you're not hitting the nail all the way in because you will break the molding, and so that's why this nail setter is important. You use the appropriate size. Mine came in a 3-pack as the one that's shown here, but it's basically to get the nail all the way in without breaking the wood. And so you actually want to hit it a little deeper in, and as you will see coming up how it should look, you're going to end up filling the holes anyways, so you just want everything to look really clean and flush and not be able to see the nail once you paint it and everything else. So in step 4, you're going to remove all the tape, and then you're going to begin to apply your wood filler. And so you just want to fill in all the corners and all the holes that you have on your wall molding so that when you paint it, everything looks really good. It looks as if it's one piece. No one will ever know there was nails or anything else, you know, once it's painted. And this is so also that the paint doesn't seep through once you paint it. If you don't do this and you miss this step in the corners, the paint's going to seep through and it's not going to look as nice as it would if you had this wood filler. Make sure you also do the outsides, not just the insides, but the kind of outsides of the corners as well. And then after that, you're just going to go ahead and get 100 grit sandpaper or somewhere close to that, and you're just going to sand it. Once it dries, it usually takes about within 15 to 20 minutes, you're good. So just begin sanding it, sand the corners too. You just want everything to be really smooth and ready so that you can paint it. On step 5, guys, be prepared because it does get a little messy with the caulking. It does come in a tube, or you can use a gun like the one I have here. You just cut your tip at an angle so that when you apply it, it's a little easier, and you can just rotate that around as to how you need it. I do 2 sides at a time only because it dries really fast. Please keep that in mind because it can be a pain if it dries and you're trying to clean it. So as you do 2 sides at a time, have your damp cloth ready or your damp paper towel and wipe it down. And this is how it should look after you clean it. It's really just to fill in that gap in between the wall and the actual molding. And make sure you also don't forget to do the inside. You want to do the outside and the inside of the molding box. And we have made it to the final step, which is just painting. All you have to do is paint it once it dries, and it only takes about 15 minutes to 20 minutes to dry. So guys, you're done after this. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember to stay tuned for those additional clips on the other molding that I did. Alright guys, so if you're going to add top molding like I did, just make sure you do it before you do the boxes so you get your boxes placed in the correct position. And you know, it's not too high where it's going to intrude on the top molding. But I really wanted to just show you guys this footage because it is slightly different. You're going to place the back side of your molding against the back side of the miter box. Now with the other molding, if you rewind this video, you will see that the back of the molding itself was placed on the bottom of the miter box. So that is the main difference. Your angles are going to look different because you're meeting them together. Like the inside of the corners are going to look different from the outside of the corners, and you're going to connect them that way as well. And then just make sure if you know you're having a hard time like I actually did, I just sanded it if it was a little you know, too long. Because my corners were rounded, it was a little more difficult, and those corners I just filled when I did my caulking. I just filled that empty space with the caulking, and as you've seen, it came out completely perfect to me anyways. So the only other part that's different other than the way you cut it is the actual nails, and those are just a little thicker and longer because you're using a different type of molding. So now moving on to an example of what you guys can do in your own living room to make a feature wall. Just want to show you guys real quick. I used 2 different size moldings. So pretty much the thicker one for all the small boxes and the outer layer of this box, and then a thinner molding for that inner box that I did with that little design there. So I hope you find this video helpful and inspiring to go ahead and do a feature wall or even molding on your island like I did. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, remember, God is love.